So, guys, welcome back. In the last video, we learned how to write introduction of the data charts, the IELTS Task 1, wherein you get data charts, right? In this video, we will learn the second important paragraph after writing the introduction. It's going to be the overview, right? The overview of the entire chart, which basically kind of summarizes the trend that you observe, the key features, the trend, maximum or minimum that you can say in 2-3 sentences. Sometimes even one sentence is more than good enough. Okay, so we are going to learn how to write overview of the data charts. So data charts, like in the previous video, we learned it can be bar graph, line chart, pie graph, mix of the graph, right? So how to write it? So this again the same pie graph we wrote the introduction of this one, if you remember, if you have seen the video. So every chart comes with a certain piece of information and instructions. Right? You can see the instructions here. You should spend around 20 minutes. So this is the instructions. Again, write a report describing the information shown in the two paragraphs. Write at least 150 words. So this is the instruction, and in middle you can see the information. The pie charts represent the outcome of a study examining the preferences of boys and girls while opting for different activities in their free time. So we have instructions and information. Now, what should we write in the overview? How to basically observe the key trends, right? This is what we are going to learn. Okay, to reiterate, the same data which was represented by the pie graph can also be represented by a table or maybe a bar graph or maybe a line chart. So in order to write the overview, you need to observe the key trend or the key trends maybe. If there is a comparison like this one between boys and girls, then you need to figure out what are the major areas wherein there is a major difference. And this is the key trend. Also, you need to observe, since it's a data of boys and it's a data of girls, what are the areas wherein boys have more interest as compared to girls, and same for the girls as well. And if you see, if you go back, but if you see, okay, so going back to the same pie graph, you can see we already have written the introduction. This is the information, the pie chart. The pie charts represent the outcome of a study examining the preferences of boys and girls opting for different activities in their free time. Now, there are few observations that you need to do. Like I said earlier, to reiterate, the same data can also be represented through tables like this one, or maybe through a bar graph or maybe a line graph. Anyway, so what are the key observations here? The key observations here are number one, boys. Let's see what are the boys' preferences. What do they prefer? And if you go back to this table again, you can see there, or maybe a pie graph, the same data is there, and you can see boys, they prefer cricket, carom comes second in the priority list, and soccer is the third one. We don't have to write all of them, just maybe two of them. So I would say cricket is their first priority, then we have carom and soccer. We can write these are the priority, you can say, or you can say most boys prefer them to play in their free time. Second one is for the girls. And what are the key observation here? Here, like if you go back to the same table, you would see that on the contrary, the girls rather prefer to read in their free time, or maybe to take part in aerobics or to do art. So they have a completely different priorities And some of those common activities, if you find them, like such as art and computer games and music, and you would see there is a huge difference. Music is pretty close, almost the same, very small differences there, but for art and for reading there is a huge difference, and for computer games also. So girls rather prefer to reading, and they like to take part in um, aerobics, and third priority is art. So this is their priority. The major difference, the huge difference in reading, and again in art, and in there's a huge difference in those activities. Now there are some beginner expressions that you can use. You should always begin with overall, give a comma, remember that, and then you can say overall. It can be observed that. Now this is how you can start writing. The second expression that you may use is overall. It is quite apparent that. The third one is you can use overall. It can be inferred from the data that. So there can be more, but these are some of them. You just have to use one of them, whatever you feel like is a good one to start writing the overall. You can overview, you can use them. Now we have the beginning sentence, we have the observations, we can start writing. Remember, we don't have to write more than 3 sentences in your overview, and sometimes even couple of sentences, and sometimes even one sentence which basically describe the accurate trend is more than good enough. So you can start something like this. Overall, it can be inferred from the provided data that. And what can be inferred? It can be inferred that most boys prefer to play, or to take part to play cricket, computer games, and carom and soccer, while girls fancy, most girls, while majority, you can say majority of, well, the majority, it has to be the majority of girls fancy. What do they fancy? Fancy reading, art, aerobics. The next one is aerobics and art in their leisure time. Make sure that you write this correct spelling, right? Otherwise it is taken as a mistake. It is considered as a mistake if there is a spelling mistake, and you lose points for that. So you should be writing the majority of the girls fancy reading, aerobics and art in their leisure time. So it's a one big complex sentence, and you can see there it starts with it can be inferred. The important thing is, since I was listing 3 items, so this is one grammatical aspect that you should remember. The 3 listing, right? Cricket and carom, right, and then soccer. When you list more than 3 items, right, then you should be using comma after every item. You can see carom, there is a comma after cricket, comma after carom, and then a comma before and also when you list more than 3 items. The next comma was used here in this case because now this sentence, this one was over, so it's like an independent clause. Now I'm adding the another sentence here using while. You can see this is the another sentence, right? So I'm adding the another independent clause, so I need a comma, right? So I'm using while to connect, as I'm using while as a connector. While the majority of the girls fancy, again you can see that there are 3 listing: reading, there is aerobics and art. So 3 listings are there, so I am using comma after every listing. You can see reading, comma after reading, comma after aerobics, And yeah, and before and you can see uh, after Arabic, so you can see before and, because there are three listings in their leisure time. So even one sentence is more than good enough, good enough, because it is completely defining the trend, or you can say accurately defining the trend that we observe in the graph, right? Yeah, that's how the overall is written. Okay, now thanks for watching, and I'll be sharing more such videos wherein more more graphs will be doing, will be writing more overview and introduction. Remember that writing a flawless introduction and overview is extremely important, because these are the two paragraphs, the small paragraphs that basically sets the impression in the examiner's mind. So make sure that you basically on every parameters, the four key parameters, again I'm going to remind you that four parameter are: the first one is the task achievement. What that basically means, you should be relevant, you should be providing the accurate data or the accurate trend in case of the overall, because you do not write any data in introduction and overview. So for overview and introduction, it should be accurate and you should be describing the trend accurately. So make sure that you go through the graph carefully and try to understand what exactly graph is representing. The second key criteria is grammatical range and accuracy. So 25% of your marking will come from grammatical range. In grammatical range, you are expected to use a variety of sentences. You are supposed to use a variety of sentences: simple, compound, complex, passive, as per the context, and they must be grammatically accurate, meaningful. So they must be grammatically correct, meaningful. The third criteria is the lexical resource. That basically means make sure that you use synonyms, groups, group of words saying the same thing, right? Do not repeat the words, right? Then finally, coherence and cohesion. What does it mean? So they should be logically connected using appropriate linkers, right? So when you basically describe something, then sentences must be systematically connected. They must be, you know what I have to say, they must be in a sequence, because if the sequence is not there, it will be difficult for the listener to understand the story that you are telling. So these are the four main criteria on which that you have to score. 25% of the marking will come from every criteria. So this is about the four criteria, and you can see there, if you go back, you would see there is a range of sentences used, no word is repeated, and the data is accurately, in case of overview, the trend is accurately described. So let's wait for the another video, and meanwhile practice more such graphs. And if you want the feedback, and if you want to be more interactive with the trainer, you can always join our community. This is the number to join community. You can just simply WhatsApp your name and you want to join the community. You'll be added to this WhatsApp group, wherein trainers across the globe are added. The mentor, this is the group of those mentors, basically headed by Mohammed Hassan Naqvi. These guys have worked in different organizations, right? Different huge organizations with having experience of more than 10 years, and they'll be guiding you. And if you want in-person guidance, live guidance, that is also provided. So all the best and happy learning.